All right, welcome everyone back. Wednesday night. I'm your host, John Restaino for Citizens United. Of course, the same. I got my people here. Robin's here. She'll be on the message board. She's feeling better back this week. And message board, right now she's sharing, so she'll be on the message board. And if there's any questions, because you know we have a guest tonight, ask them there, and she will, be able to read them off if need be. John's here, Fidel, and Wade. How you doing?
I'm doing great today. I'm excited to hear another candidate running for Niagara Falls Council. Excited to hear what she has to say and the questions that you present to her. How have you been?
I'm all right.
How was last week?
It was okay. Yeah, it was all right. It's getting hot again outside, unfortunately. I don't know. I'm ready for fall.
Yeah?
Football
I'm
starts.
ready for football. I'm ready for football. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Ready.
Yeah, he's ready over there. Of course he's ready. I'm ready. You know what? Let's not waste any more time. I only have Tracy for about a half hour. So our guest tonight is... Ooh, you know what, Wade?
Yeah.
I'm hearing myself.
Okay.
My guest tonight is Tracy Bax, candidate for Niagara Falls City Council. Hi, Tracy.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Thank you. Sorry for the mix-up in the beginning.
That's okay. Hey, it happens.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask you, Tracy, for everyone out there that doesn't know you, tell everyone who you are, your background, and all of that.
Hey, you got it, John. So first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show, and it's glad we were able to get those issues aside, because I was really excited about being here and chatting with your listeners tonight. So who am I? I am a native here to Niagara Falls. Grew up in Niagara Falls, went to local schools here at Niagara Falls. As a matter of fact, John, you and I went to the same high school together.
Right. Yep.
And lived here all my life. Went to school, Niagara University. Married, had my family here. And as a matter of fact, when my husband and I were, first living together, first married, with our daughter, we lived on Grand Avenue in Niagara Falls and got to experience a lot of the things that were downtown on Pine Avenue with our family. And so now fast forward to today, my daughter's older. I have grandkids now. And I work for AAA, Western Central New York. I run their assistant vice president of the travel operations for the organization. So I run their travel operations in Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse throughout our territory. So that's a little bit about me, my professional background, and my time here in the city.
Thanks, Tracy. I know we went to Niagara Catholic together, and we're both grandparents now. Isn't that something?
I know, it's wild, right? But I wouldn't want it any other way. It's awesome.
No, the grandkids are great because the old thing, they go home, right? No.
Exactly. They wear you out. They
yeah.
You have a ton of fun with them. They wear you out, and then you send them home. And you're right. That is the best part.
Yeah. No, it's great. Grandkids are the best. So Tracy, what made you? I'm going to ask you that. Why? Because you've never done this before.
Why?
Yeah. Why do it?
I have never done this before, and I got to tell you, I am so far out of my comfort zone, but I absolutely love it. So, truth be told, I've been thinking about doing this for quite a few years, and the time just seemed to be right now. And so I wanted to go for it. Like I said, I lived here, John, and my almost my whole life here, and started my career here in the hospitality and tourism industry in the hotels downtown. So I love this city. I think that Niagara Falls, there's better days ahead. I think that there's a lot of opportunity, and it's going to take people with, who want to roll up their sleeves, who have initiative, who have experience to jump in the ring and give it a good shot. And that's what I want to do for our community.
Yeah, I know. I've been here like you forever, and it's hard not to be pessimistic, right? I mean, because we've had a lot of false hope. A lot of things like that, Yeah. So here's what I want to do. You know what? Let's talk about this first. I want to talk about development with you first.
Sure.
And it'd be downtown, the 140 acres, owned by NFR, the Turtle, all that stuff.
Sure.
Tell me what you think of NFR. Because now here's what I think. But I think, so that way you can build off this. It's been about 25 years of really nothing. We haven't seen anything. the Turtle being unfortunately open. It's one of the best places, right? It's right there near Goat Island. Nabisco's there and everything else. What do you think of that? What do you think of NFR? Is there anything that's going to turn them around to say, hey, we're going to start to do something?
So, I think a couple of things here. So when I look at downtown Niagara, first of all, the Turtle, gosh, I remember going there when I was a kid. My father, my father was a carpenter, and he helped to build that structure. And so I remember going there when they had the different events and things that were housed there. So it's a pretty neat structure, really truly is. There's a lot of opportunity in this city. And you know what it takes, John? It takes a vision, it takes planning, it takes understanding what these assets are, how we can redevelop them into something that offers activity and excitement and things for families to do here in this city. But I'm going to go back to just two words, and I've learned this throughout my career: vision, planning, and initiative to make things happen. That's really what it's going to take, and it's going to take doing that with the city leaders, with NFR, and with other investors. So there's a lot of different sides to this. Right,
I know it's frustrating, because we just talked about it. You went to the Turtle and all those things, and it sits there still. I'm hoping when you guys get in, this next group of you will be able to help do something, push it somewhere, because you're almost at the point where you could take them back. Because I think the city might be able to take them back if it gets to I don't know, Tracy, how the go ahead.
Yeah, so you may be right on that. I don't know all the logistics as to how that happens, but I have read a little bit about that. But again, I really truly believe that there's opportunity, and there are better days ahead for those structures down there. And it takes conversations. It takes asking the questions why. It takes asking the questions how do we get there? What do we need to do? And really understanding those things and working together. There's quite a few different stakeholders that need to work together to make these things happen. And that's what it takes is somebody who is willing to, like I said, roll up their sleeves, get in there, ask those questions, bring those groups together, and figure out how to make things happen. Not how to make things sit, but how to make things happen.
Right. Yeah, no, someone's got to ask the questions. You're right. I don't know if it's been asked really much through the years, but I don't know. I wouldn't really know. I'm not in there. We were never in there. So that's why you hopefully will be in there. And
I hope so.
Can do those types of things for us because, downtown, I'm talking, where the casino is, and then you got Goat Island and everything, whatever NFR controls, it almost feels like it's a territory upon itself. Like the city doesn't have much, well, do they have much say? Well, there's like a picture of the $46 million visitors center. How do you feel when because this is going to be a great question for you because you know tourism. As me sitting at home watching that, it upset me a little bit because I'm like, why put $46 million onto Goat Island where I can't have any of that for my city instead of putting it out, outside of Goat Island? What were your opinions on that $46 million spent for the visitor center?
So, my opinion is this. I understand the need to invest and develop into creating great experiences for visitors. Look, when visitors come here, they expect, they hear Niagara Falls, they have this expectation, this perception in their heads, right? And we do when we visit other destinations of what we want from that experience and the memories we want to bring home with us. And we have to develop high touch, world-class types of attractions and things to keep people engaged and interested. So I get that, and I get that it takes millions of dollars to develop these things. What I might question is that the right place to put it? Is that the right spot to put it? So, I understand it on one sense, and, I've been out walking around and I've heard from, some others, and it doesn't seem to be a hot topic, the visitor center, but for the few that have I have talked to about it, you know, what I hear is, gosh, could we spend that money on fixing the roads? Could we spend that money on you know, different things, cleaning up the city, on you know, developing buildings and things, and that's it. That you know, no, that money's going to go for that particular project, and if we say no, then it's going to go into another community for a project like that, right? So from a visitor perspective, I get it and I understand it. Like I said, maybe there's a better place to put it, but then it becomes upon us as city leaders here, you know, in Niagara Falls and tourism and hospitality, you know, stakeholders and owners to figure out, well, great, if people are coming here and they're congregating there at that visitor center, how do we now use that as a hook to get people into our city? And that's where we have to be thinking and planning.
It's so weird because I feel like what makes us special sometimes hurts us. Like the falls, for example, the water, because we got to get them off the island and away from the casino. And like you almost have, there has to be you got to get them away from there, because if they stay in the casino, they will never leave. You know, generally everything's there. Goat Island helps us not much at all. Well, I mean, not much, not at all. So we somehow, you're right. I mean, we got to get them off the island, you know? And
yeah, you know, absolutely. So I'll equate this and use the kind of the equivalent of Disney, right? I mean, think about it. When you look at a place like Orlando that has Disney, when you visit Disney, there's no reason to leave that complex. There's no reason to go spend your money elsewhere. And so the people of Orlando and in that city and that tourism industry could have said, well, you know what, this is no good for us. We're not. It's not working well for our city. But instead, what they did is they developed iDrive. And iDrive has, International Drive, has attractions and all kinds of things that's outside of Disney. So Disney is actually helping for their tourism industry to just flourish. So my point is yes, I know we're not in Orlando, we're not that size, we're not that scale, but the principles they use to build their tourism industry for economic development and to generate revenues and things into their city, those are the principles that we need to expand upon and explore and figure out how to right size them to our community.
All right, let's move on down to 3rd Street now. We're kind of making our way.
You got it.
We're going down to 3rd Street where we used to go to Club Exit and all those things were there. And Bed Rocks or whatever they were called and all that stuff was there. But at that time, it was almost like a college town feel. It almost felt like could be Columbus, Ohio, just in a smaller version. But I have a video about 3rd Street that I'd like you to watch. It's about a couple minutes long. It's from Investigative Post. And I want you to react to it after you see it. You ready? All right, here it comes.
Well, tonight we continue our You Paid For It series with some help from our nonprofit partners at Investigative Post. Now, they've been looking into a deal on 3rd Street in Niagara Falls. A state-run development corporation has given TM Montante 2 buildings valued at just under $1 million.
Yeah, the plan is that the developer will turn it into a bar, restaurant, and meeting space. State law usually prevents a deal like that from happening, but reporter Mark Scheer found out the developer might get even more state money.
Developer TM Montante has applied for more than $750,000 in state and federal tax credits. It's also seeking nearly $500,000 in cash from a tourism development fund. But wait, there's still more. Montante is also asking the Niagara County Industrial Development Agency to cut its property, sales, and mortgage taxes by almost another $500,000. Add it all up, and taxpayers would fork over more than $2.5 million. And what do they get in return? 14 jobs, many of them cooks, bartenders, and waitresses. The subsidies work out to nearly $200,000 a job.
I would say it sounds like this project isn't the best way for Niagara County to invest public money.
State Senator Sean Ryan was also critical.
So why would you take one business owner and say, we're going to give you a lot of benefits, but everyone you compete against has to pay their own way? That's bad economic development.
No one from the development company or the state and local economic development agencies pushing the subsidies would go on camera to discuss the project. Off camera, they justified the subsidies, saying the law allows them for retail projects in economically distressed areas. The poverty rate in the neighborhood around the project approaches 50%. Sean Weber, who owns Wine on 3rd, a bar and restaurant across the street from the proposed project, supports the subsidies.
In an ideal world, there'd be no subsidies. You know, the rents would be high enough to cover any investment you needed to make to get the project done, but that's not the real world, especially in Niagara Falls. The real world is, if you don't get these subsidies, none of this stuff will happen.
Ryan isn't convinced.
You know, this just isn't a public benefit. This is a private gain, and this should stay where it belongs, in the private sector.
The IDA is scheduled to vote on the incentive package for the project on July 14th. For Channel 2 News, I'm Mark Shear with Investigative Post.
All right. You know, I just wanted to play it, and I know it's kind of old because it's July, but it was better than me asking all of it like that. So what do you think of what you heard on there? Maybe you heard it already before, but what's your take on all that?
Yeah, John, I've seen that clip quite a few times, and you know, so I think a couple of things. I think there's a few different sides, and what I liked about, or what I kind of picked up on that piece in that segment is you had two different sides expressed there. Sean Weber had a view, and he's again, I can understand and see where that point comes into play. So we have some decisions that we can make down there on 3rd Street. The buildings are sitting there. There's some development that needs to happen. So on one side of it, you know, the story talks about, well, maybe how that came about. There could have been some better ways. Yeah, 14 jobs, and that's all we're getting. I might argue there might be some more things that we're getting. There's going to be, you know, the start of a bit of a, you know, entertainment district. That's going to be happening there. So more jobs could spill over, and as more development happens, there's going to be spending. There's going to be, you know, from the receipts of the food, the beverages, the meeting center. I don't know a lot about it, but I don't know what the plan is, what that will bring, and what economic, you know, benefits we'll get off of that spill into the city. So more learning, basically, is what I'm saying, is what I'd like to, you know, I just like to learn a little bit more about the project and more about what the long-term benefits would be to the city.
And I'm with Tracy Bax, who is a candidate for Niagara Falls City Council. Okay, you know what? I want to move away from that because we got limited time. Let's go to real quick on the $59 million, the CARES Act.
Right.
We all know. Do we know, right? Or do you know? Or I think I know. I've read things online. I know other cities have used the money. Do we know how to use the money yet, or what do we know, or don't know?
So that's a great question. I will be the first to admit I am no expert in those 151 pages that explains how you can use that money. So there's, you know, better experts out there to understand that versus me. So I've been to the you know, the public meetings to learn about it, and so my knowledge is built off of those, what I've learned from the, you know, those meetings. So, you know, some of the money comes this year, some comes next year. It has to be spent by 2026, and there's 4 major categories that it has to be spent around, which have all been discussed and, you know, put out there for the public to know about. But, you know, there are some things that I do agree with what that money needs to be spent on. And first of all, we need to look at that as an investment. This is a one-time shot that this amount of money that our city is getting. And the more we can invest it for continual benefit for years to come, the better that money will have been spent. And I'll give you some examples of just 2 examples of how I think that money could be spent in good ways to benefit our community. So first of all, I've heard about, you know, spending this money on upgrading our broadband systems, our network infrastructure, our information security. I am a firm supporter of that. We have to protect our you know, our data for our residents and for our community. And we have to provide what people expect, residents, visitors, with that broadband infrastructure, which will also help us to develop new technologies moving forward, attract investors coming and new businesses coming to our area. So that's critical and important. Secondly, I think of how can we use this, again, in our communities to keep us safe. There was something that I heard that I thought, gosh, this really does make sense. Let's use that money to invest to upgrading our lighting system throughout the city. When you light up the city, what does that do? That helps to deter crime. It helps to keep, a sense of safety. Investing in other things that are proactive crime, crime prevention systems and mechanisms throughout the city, I think would be some good things. And there's a whole bunch I can go on and on, but those are just 2 quick examples.
Well, let's go into crime while we're at it.
Okay.
Violent crime, we know what's up. We know how bad it is. We know last year, we smashed the record of homicides. It was 8 in 1985. It was like 22, I think, last year. And this year there's too many. The gun buyback happened, but you know what? I think everyone has a weird feeling. I don't know. They're kind of sometimes they work. I don't know. I don't really know if they work or not. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. What is your plan? Is there a plan, or do you have any thoughts? I know poverty is a big deal for crime in general. I just want to hear what you think.
Sure. Yeah, so here's the thing with crime. Crime is a Niagara Falls. The rising crime is a Niagara Falls issue. It is a New York State issue, and boy, do we have some issues there that need to be addressed. And it is it's sweeping across America, and it's an issue, all over, for a whole host of reasons. I think a lot of this COVID fatigue that is setting in is we're starting to experience some of these negative impacts of it. But again, I'll go back to what do we need to do? There is proactive crime fighting and reactive crime fighting, right? So we have to take a look at both of those things and address both of those differently. I'm a big proponent, and I think most of the your listeners and viewers know my husband's a police officer. He rides around these streets, and I hear a lot of stories from him as to how things are. But we have to invest in proactive crime fighting systems too. I just talked about one, lighting up the cities, but the equipment that they have, the communication systems that they have, the computer systems. There's so much upgrading that we need to do to better equip our officers out there on the streets to keep us safe. So we need to invest in that. Then the other side of the coin, and boy, this is where we need our state legislator help, is with Albany, with the bail reform. I've read some research and some things, and there seems to be there could be an argument made that there's correlation between bail reform and what we're seeing in the state and even in our city.
Right. Yeah, no, I know bail reform, it's been a disaster. I know it really has. But what about and I think you've already maybe you touched on it. You got to give them something to do. And I mean, children, kids got to somehow get these, I don't know. You remember night gym? I know we probably never go back there again. I don't know if we ever do. City Pride doesn't have enough of that. But where was that one place? There's a community center. Jeez, I can't remember. It's down. Robin, do you remember? It's down. It's down. I think it's in Highland. Calumet, maybe. It's one that has been closed forever. And Tracy, we got to try to open it. Yeah.
John, I couldn't agree with you more. So I'm a firm believer in the future. The future of this city does not lie in, look, I'm 50 years old, doesn't lie in me, right? It lies in developing our younger residents to be engaged and to be part of our community and to help shape the culture of our community moving forward. So how do we get them engaged? How do we get them to be a part of it? How do we get them to understand their role as future leaders and things like that in community centers and organizing activities and things? I'm a huge believer in that. And I could tell you some stories just walking, door to door, and I talk to our younger residents, things that they've told me that they think our city needs. And I got to tell you, when they talk to me, that's when my ears perk up, because boy, are they intuitive and smart.
Yeah, they are, and they're not bitter yet, like me. So you know what I mean? They haven't turned bitter after 40 some years. Well, I'm 52.
Right.
50. I'm not 52. I'm 50 years old. But and I'm bitter. Yeah. But I can't help it. What are you going to do? It's hard not to be. But you can't keep looking to the past. I guess we got to keep moving forward.
Exactly. And that's the number one thing. And it's actually, you say that they're not bitter yet. They're not. They have hope, and they are our future. So and that's what, if there's anything that that the listeners here and viewers can take away from me, I am a strategic, futuristic thinker. And that's where we have to be. That's where we have to reshape our minds as residents here in the city. If we're here and we believe the city has hope like I do, that there are better days, we have to continue to ask those questions. How and why? How can we do this? How can we open that community center? How can we get these activities? How do we engage the youth in ways that are positive and productive? You know, how do we get economic development? That's the direction that we need to be headed.
You know, let's go. We got about 10 minutes or so left. I want to get into a story that seemed to be, for me, it drove me nuts because I never thought about short-term rentals in my life, really, except when I've gone to, we've never stayed in one, but we always look at them, you know, when you go on vacation, different places. This story aggravated me, and then I got into it, and I understand it some, but here's my thing. I live in the zone, you know, that zone. And I got to tell you, and then this is where I keep going back and forth. It's one of the harder ones I could see because I don't mind short-term rentals, and I don't even know if I'd mind if it was near me. I don't think I would. I mean, should I? I mean, I don't know. Like, the zone makes sense to me, kind of, sort of, because I know there are ones other places I've been. Myrtle Beach, I think even somewhere, Tampa maybe. What are your thoughts on all of it? All of that short-term rental stuff?
So I am a supporter of short-term rentals, hands down. I own a vacation home, not here in Niagara Falls, but I own a vacation home and have so for the past 17 years. So it is, first and foremost, it is a tourism, you know, it's a tourism business. It does cater to certain needs of, you know, certain tourists and certain travelers. So I get that and I understand that. My position on this, and you asked specifically about the zone, and which ties into the zone as a part of the new ordinance, and that's what I think has been in the, you know, a lot of you know, in the news or in the papers lately. So I'll go back to the ordinance. I actually support a stronger ordinance for our city, and here's why. Again, as a vacation owner myself, we need to protect the integrity of our neighborhoods, but we also need to protect not just what's going on today. And I don't think short-term rentals are a huge problem in our cities right now. Like, I don't think we have a lot of problem. But if we don't have some structure, we will have problems in the future if we just let it be a free-for-all without some structure. And we have to enforce that structure. I will say that. That's where that's where I believe we fell down. So we have to put a process in place to enforce that structure. But I am in favor of the ordinance. I am in favor of short-term rentals. I am in favor of making them work in our city.
Yeah, I am too. I just couldn't. It's funny, that story exploded like last year in the summer. I think it was like June of last year, July. I don't know. And because I had a guest on. Oh God. Jeff Flack, he was on it one time talking about short-term rentals, and then I had an opposite opinion of it. It's, you know, I think everyone agrees you need more enforcement and all that, and we might not have enough people to enforce. There's so many of them.
Right.
But yeah, I'm for them. How could you be against them? I guess the zone is the interesting thing. I guess that's what gets everyone upset is.
Well, you know, there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, too. So, and I understand the reason for the zone, I really do. But you know what, there's other cities, like, for example, where my vacation home rental is, there are guidelines. A certain percentage of the housing stock in the community can be a short-term rental, and a certain percentage, and then once that's hit, like, it's capped out. So then it's like it's one in, it's one out. So, I mean, there's different ways to control that, and but we have to start somewhere. Right? We have to start somewhere in this city. So. Yeah.
And this guy, And starting somewhere sometimes for us, it starts out ugly. You know what I mean? It starts out ugly and then it'll smooth itself out. Yeah. Couple more last questions. The grass cutting. It's been a major thing lately because there's grass growing everywhere.
Right.
DPW can't handle it. I think, and nothing against them because they're shorthanded. They don't get paid well. I mean, it's really kind of messy where they start at like $13 an hour. I think COVID has taken away the workfare programs from the county and I think the county jail and the welfare. Have you put any thought into any of that? I mean, I know you're just, but although you're going to be a legislator there if you win, So you'll be putting stuff in the budget. Is there any thought about that? Making DPW more whole again, because they need help, I think.
Yeah, that's certainly an area I want to dive in and talk to the leaders over there, understand what is it that the real problems are. So here's what I've learned, John. Just having conversations out in the community and this and that, and even from my own perspective, like we all have our thoughts and opinions, right? We all think we know what the real problem is, and go to the iceberg analogy that I'm sure everybody's heard. What we see on the surface is typically, that's not the problem. The problem is below the surface, and that's what we need to understand. Why is there an issue? And that's going to be, my responsibility is if, should I win on a council seat, the budget, understanding how do we right size that budget to be able to meet the needs of what we have to do. The council votes on the budget. We put that pot of money forward, and then it's up to the leaders to figure out how to use that and use that wisely. But if we're not in sync with understanding both sides, the budget and the issues and how to make things work, and that becomes a problem. So, I don't know the answer today. How do we cut more grass? But that's a problem. And, it's we talk about, grass growing, and people might say, well, is that an issue? And the answer is yeah, because it's also not just a aesthetic issue. It's a quality of life issue. It's a safety issue for people, walking past and you don't know what's in, what's inside there. So yeah, it really is actually something that's really important.
Yeah. No, I know. It's a funny one because once again, it just popped up out of nowhere the last couple of weeks that it was noticeable, I guess, to some. One more question before, and then I got to get your final statement on why you're the best candidate for this.
Okay.
Can I go to City Hall? And I'm asking this like seriously. I don't know. You might not know the answer. And buy property, like just walk in and say, I see there's a house. I don't know, anywhere 1600 of Ashland or something, and I say, can I just go in there and say I want it for $500, and then I get it? Or how does that? Do you know? Because I don't know how to do that.
John, I don't know the answer to that question, so I don't want to mislead and give out information, give out misinformation. Right. So based on exactly what you just described, I don't know the answer to that question.
That's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot with that, but I was just wondering because no one knows it. Honestly, no one knows it, though. I'm asking tons of people that don't know it because I don't know it either. Why don't we do this, Tracy? And I appreciate your time today. But what I'd like to end in is why you're the best. Why are you the best person to be our council person?
So, well, thank you for asking that. And, it's really not, it's up to the voters. It's at November 2nd, it's up to the voters to decide if they feel that I'm one of the, the three best candidates. And I hope they do. I'll just share in closing that I want Niagara Falls to be a better place for us, a better place for our kids, a better place for our grandkids. And I have passion about this city. I've lived here a long time. Like I said, I started my career here and, very passionate about the tourism industry and economic development around that for all the benefits it brings. I'm a strategic thinker. I think about the future. We can't change. We can't even change what happened an hour ago, let alone what happened in the past. So my vision is focused on the future. I've worked with my job with corporate leaders for many, many years, so I understand how to navigate some of these sticky processes that you sometimes get involved in, and I don't let it stop me. I keep asking the questions: how, why, and let's go. And that's what I want to bring to that experience to the city of Niagara Falls.
Tracy, thank you for your time, and after you, if you win, you got to come back with us because then I'll be able to ask you some questions that will be more fair because you'll actually be in there. I know. But anyways, thank you for your time, and we'll see you down the road. All right, Tracy, take care.
Right. That's great. Thanks.
Bye-bye. And that was Tracy Bax, Niagara Falls candidate for City Council. We're going to be taking a break here in a moment, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a story that is a major story, worldwide, national, obviously here in our state. Governor Cuomo being asked to resign. But we'll get into all that. We have video. We have everything. We'll be back in a moment.
Hey, Western New York, CJ Spiller here, telling everyone to watch Goal Getters live every Friday at 6 p.m., where they'll give you up-to-date sports info. It's a great show, so be sure to leave your comments below. You like how I rhyme with that?
And I thank Tracy Bax for being with us. She is running for Niagara Falls City Council, and I appreciate her time. I appreciate all of it. I mean, and I hope we'll have her back again, maybe even before November. Who knows? But we got others coming up. I got to get all to the rest of them. I only have one left, Wade, that I haven't gotten an answer back from, and that is Zajac. But everyone else, James Abendanza signed in. We're all set. We're 5 out of 6.
Awesome. 5 out of 6 ain't too bad.
Ain't bad. Yeah, right. Robin, anything happening over there that I should know about?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Just anticipating this next story.
Yeah, well, the next story, we'll get into this. I'm going to say something first, and then we'll look at the Attorney General, her statement, and then we're going to have to look at the governor's statement. As everyone knows, he was this has been going on, though. Sometime earlier this year, the Attorney General came out, and we right here applauded her. She came out with a big statement, and people kind of put her down, saying, oh, she's not going to do anything. They'll get to her. Well, they didn't, because she did her job. She did what she's supposed to do. And sure, it's going to be a political nightmare because she's also a Democrat and all that. So, you know, I give her credit. I mean, she did what she had to do, and I got to appreciate that. I wish I could say her name right, and I really hope I'm not going to butcher this. Listen to this, you guys. See if you can say this. Letitia.
Letitia.
All right, perfect. Because of the way I was going to say it was going to be horrible. Yeah, it would have probably been deplatformed or something would have went on. We'd have been shut down.
We would have.
Yeah. Thank you. Because I was saying it, and I'm like, come on, no way. Good job. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah,
words
happy to help.
Yes. Why don't we listen to her right now? A couple minutes. And you know we'll hear her.
4,000 pieces of evidence, including documents, emails, texts, audio files, and pictures. These interviews and pieces of evidence reveal a deeply disturbing yet clear picture. Governor Cuomo sexually harassed current and former state employees in violation of both federal and state laws. The Independence investigation found that Governor Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women, many of whom were young women, by engaging in unwanted groping, kisses, hugging, and by making inappropriate comments. Further, the governor and his senior team took actions to retaliate against at least one former employee for coming forward with her story, her truth. And Governor Cuomo's administration fostered a toxic workplace that enabled harassment and created a hostile work environment where staffers did not feel comfortable coming forward with complaints about sexual harassment due to a climate of fear and given the power dynamics. The investigators found that Governor Cuomo's actions and those of the executive chamber violated multiple state and federal laws, as well as the executive chamber's own written policies. This investigation has revealed conduct that corrodes the very fabric and character of our state government and shines light on injustice that can be present at the highest levels of government. But none of this would have been illuminated if not for the heroic women who came forward. And I am inspired by all the brave women who came forward. But more importantly, I believe them. And I thank them for their bravery.
Well, there you have it. Letitia James, Attorney General of New York State. I mean, there it is. I mean, that's
powerful.
Yeah,
that was a powerful statement she really made there.
Yeah, and it was, he sexually harassed. There's a National Grid work is part of this. A New York State trooper. One thing you got to remember, and we deal with this here at Citizens United a lot, and we have a lot of brave women that have come forward. We'll be talking more about that, what we got coming up tomorrow on a special edition. But, I got to say, when you're telling me that 11, 12, 2, 3, even 1, obviously, but the more you get, how could they all be mistaken? We're going to hear him. He's going to tell you how mistaken they were in a moment. And what's the matter, Rob?
There were 74,000 pieces of evidence that they looked at. Right. 74,000.
Yeah.
And that's just what they actually reviewed. Can you imagine how many pieces of evidence and survivors there are out there?
Well, and let's do this real quick before we go to the governor. There's a woman named Charlotte Bennett, and he's going to mention her in there, but we don't have anything from her. She did have a good statement. I didn't get it. It's my fault. I should have had it. But let me explain to you who she is. She's a former executive assistant to him. Well, you're going to hear him bring her up, but let me tell you what I know she said. He was looking for a girlfriend, is what he told her, and asked if she had ever slept with older men, and so on. He will tell you, and this is something that I wonder if it's a problem. Think about it. Why does he comes out here and reveals her as a sexual assault survivor? I don't know if she did that. We don't know. I don't recall.
Did her. I could see her pain. People now ask me, why was I even talking to this young woman if I knew she was dealing with such issues? Why did I even engage with her? That is the obvious and fair question, and one I have thought a lot about. The truth is that her story resonated deeply with me. I had heard the same story before, with the same ugliness, the same injustice, the same damage. Not only had I heard the story before, I had lived with the story before. My own family member is a survivor of sexual assault in high school. I have watched her live and suffer with the trauma. I would do anything to make it go away for her, but it never really goes away. I spent countless days and nights working through these issues with her and therapists and counselors. I'm governor of the state of New York, but I felt powerless to help and felt that I had failed her. I couldn't take the pain away. I still can't. And this young woman brought it all back. She's about the same age. I thought I had learned a lot about the issue from my family's experience. I thought I could help her work through a difficult time. I did ask her questions I don't normally ask people. I did ask her how she was doing and how she was feeling. And I did ask questions to try to see if she had positive, supportive dating relationships. I know too well the manifestations of sexual assault trauma and the damage that it can do in the aftermath. I was trying to make sure she was working her way through it the best she could. I thought I had learned enough and had enough personal experience to help her. But I was wrong. I have heard Charlotte and her lawyer, and I understand what they are saying. But they read into comments that I made and draw inferences that I never meant. They ascribe motives I never had. And simply put, they heard things that I just didn't say. Charlotte, I want you to know that I am truly and deeply sorry. I brought my personal experience into the workplace, and I shouldn't have done that. I was trying to help. Obviously, I didn't. I am even more sorry that I further complicated the situation. My goal was the exact opposite. I wish nothing but good for you and for all survivors.
Yeah, there's the governor. Well, obviously, one of the things that stuck out to me was, and this is one thing, there's quite a number in that 4-minute clip. He said that he did something he usually doesn't do. He asked, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What are you talking about? You don't usually do that? You got to, right? Everyone does that.
Right, of course.
How are you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a problem in anywhere that I know of. How are you? How are you doing? I don't.
Sexual assault survivors can't be spoken to.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, people were saying, did you hear that part where people were telling me that, why am I dealing with this woman with all of her problems? Why am I even talking to her? He said.
Wow.
And then he says, because I was going to help her, because he's giving, but what are you talking about? Why couldn't you talk? So you're not allowed to talk to it was the most bizarre thing. What's that, Robin?
What he did in the statement was try to make people feel sorry for him for sexually harassing women. He tried to make himself the victim instead of the women that he victimized. And the statement, I mean, the part that we just watched is disgusting. It gets more disgusting. He says how great he's handling COVID and threatens us that COVID is going to get out of hand if he has to resign. Well, guess what? I've had COVID. I'd rather have COVID than be sexually harassed by this son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's well said.
And how about the irony of Joe Biden calling for his resignation?
Well, yeah, we didn't even get to there yet, yeah.
And he's the help from COVID. How many people died in nursing homes?
Right.
6,000.
Investigation's still going on, and he says it like...
And he wrote a book. They're investigating the book.
Right.
And he wrote a book.
Like he handled it beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, I was wowed. I was blown away by him because... And of course, everyone... Now, it isn't just Charlotte Bennett, of course. There's others. I mean, I didn't write them all down, but I mean, there's one that he a current female aide, who is remaining anonymous, said that Mr. Cuomo reached under her blouse and groped her. I mean, that's the most serious of allegations. That's criminal, and a criminal investigation is going on, they say. Real quick on a few things that are going on. All Democrats who represent New York in Congress have called on him to resign, including AOC, Nadler, Gillibrand, and Schumer. Kathy Hochul with a strong statement. Kathy Hochul said, "I believe these brave women and admire their courage coming forward. The governor's behavior was repulsive and unlawful." And that's his lieutenant general. Yeah, so she's saying that. Now you tell me if nothing happened, why would she wouldn't say a word?
Right.
You know, because you're putting what are you doing to yourself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's got the most incredible statement of them all. Hochul, I think.
I wonder where she was when the investigation began, though. I wonder where this statement was when these women came out, and
the hammer's coming down now. So everybody who was Cuomo's friend is no longer Cuomo's friend.
No, they're all gone. Yeah, look at Schumer and all them. I mean, they're
running away.
Yeah, they're running away, and they should have ran away before. And they all know what's going on. The problem is, I talk about this with even stuff that happens here. The problem we have is that the laws, the system, the judicial system, the legal system is moving and running, perfectly fine. It's moving along as the way it should. It works great, only because that's the way it was made. It was made to be horrible. It was made to suck. It was made to screw up victims, and all the way around. Or else, why would there ever be when you really sit down and think about it, why would there ever be term limits on rape, child rape? Why would there ever be criminal term limits? I could even handle the civil ones because, all right, fine, but criminal. Let's go criminal. A criminal should have no statute, right?
Who is the person on these legislative decisions to just be like, oh wait, let's put a term limit on this because we
but no term limit.
I can't even imagine what's they say when they say that.
You know who it is, though? It's people who are doing this. They're the ones that are making the laws, and they're making the laws to protect themselves, not to protect the rest of us.
Well, that's it. That's why I say it was built perfectly. It's in their mind. They have a well-oiled machine running. It's when you get on the other side. It's when and I'm just gonna stick with the victims. I'm not because at this point I don't care about I don't even give a damn. I'm just worried about the victims. And those victims, as we go through what we go through here at Gorillas Inc., all you guys, and I know Robin, and tomorrow we're going to have, Robin will be here, Kay will be here, Noelle will be here, Noelle's mom, Gail, I hope she's going to be here, sounds like it. We're going to have a show reuniting from June 2nd, because we've never found out what happened to Kay since June 2nd. How's Noelle doing? How's Robin doing? New developments in D'Angelo case. But, the New York State Assembly members all are in favor of impeachment process, of an impeachment process if he will not resign himself. Chris Cuomo is a big problem from CNN, because the biggest problem that I think you got is you have him. I think it's more of a public relations issue for CNN, because what he says in written emails and what he ends up telling his brother is probably not what you want if you're a network, someone who's pretty much telling you to stick it out. Those people, meaning the abused people, will forget it. What do you think, Rob? I know you want some. Say, go ahead.
Can I just point something out about the way he and it's later on in the statement, but the way he invokes his daughters is sickening.
Yeah, we cut it off.
Yeah, and I beg everyone out there to please listen to the full statement, because it's just every second of it is disgusting.
Yeah.
And the point that you made earlier about him texting with this woman asking her if she likes to sleep with older men, and he in response tells her that anyone over 22 is fine with him. And I think that it should be a general rule for anyone who doesn't know this. If you have to ask if she's too young, she's too fucking young.
Yeah, that's a good rule. Yeah, that's a really good rule. I mean, it really is. Yeah, and if you got to ask, there's a yeah, yeah. I take that. Yes, definitely. That's a good rule. Yeah. The further he goes along, the more ridiculous it gets. I mean, yes, it'd probably be a good idea to listen to the rest. He brings up his daughters. He brings up being pretty much, I'm Italian. That's what I do. I kiss people. I hug people, and all this stuff. I mean, it's an outrage. I mean, how dare you?
He goes on this photo tour of him hugging and
people
kissing people,
on
like
their
Joe
foreheads
Biden and
grabbing
his
their-
mother, and
Yeah, it's
bizarre.
No, it's what he's going to do, though.
Yeah.
You could have guessed
A bunch
it.
of bullshit
you
that his
could have-
brother wrote.
But you could have guessed it. When they're on friggin' CNN, when people are dying and all hell's breaking loose, and he's bringing out the big Q-tip, and everyone thinks it's cute. No, it's not cute. It's not cute to have the big Q-tip when all the people needing respirators, and you're sitting there, and your stupid brother's laughing, and you two are going back and forth. There's nothing cute about it, and it does shine a light. It does shine a light, like she said, the Attorney General, on injustice that can be present at the highest levels of government. I mean, it's at the lowest levels of government too, by the way, as we know. Just bring it down to your city. Where does this? I want to ask Wade this one. Does he resign?
He should resign.
You think he will, though?
I do.
I
mean, yes.
You think
know
he will?
why? Because if your lieutenant general your lieutenant governor is against you, you should resign. I would say because of what Kathy Hochul stated.
Right.
That it's a matter of time.
I have somebody who worked in Albany, and I talked to them today, and they told me that group, him and his people that stick up for him over there, are really bullies. They threaten your job, they threaten political everything. They threaten everything. So I'm assuming that's what must be going on. You know, I absolutely,
right, of
yeah.
course. Like they tried to make fake laws to kick out parties,
right?
And it succeeds.
Sure,
so
right.
They are
they're untouchable.
of their own.
Yes, and that's what he has made. John, does he resign?
Yes.
Yes.
And I need to know, why has he been in office this long?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, how many years? 16 years or whatever? It's like crazy.
I know. Isn't that funny? We have term limits on. We don't have term limits on that, but we have limits on rape. Weird, right?
You don't know. It could have been going on the whole time he's been in.
It was going on before he was in office.
I guarantee you, this is something that's gone for decades. Because you can. Because I can, and I'm messed up in my head. You know, there's something in your head. There's something going on up there that you don't have that piece that tells you right from wrong. Because I don't get it. And it's that, and I think what it is, you know what? I take that back. Screw that. It's more that they're just so narcissistic and crazy that because I'm so powerful, you should be thanking me for going up your shirt and groping you. Right. That's what should happen. Thank you, Governor Cuomo, for coming up. Please, you know. It's kind of Harvey Weinstein. We watched, and you guys, Wade, you have to watch this, John, if you Catch and Kill, and it's a 6-part documentary. It's great, though, because all 6 parts, they do it in 30 minutes. They're all like only 20 to 30-minute things. So they're good clips. It's about the Harvey Weinstein and the reporter who took him down, and it's crazy. But
worth watching. It's on HBO Max for anybody who's interested.
And there's a fight that people are trying to kill. Media's under attack, like you wouldn't believe, man. But Robin, is he going to resign?
I don't think so. I think if he had a shred of decency, he would have done that and not put people through this. And obviously, if he had a shred of decency, he wouldn't have done this. So I don't have any confidence at all that he does the right thing. I think he does exactly what his brother suggested and ride it out and hope
He's
people
going
forget.
to ride it out until the next election, which I can't remember when it is. I don't know what year. 23. So he's got a long way to ride it out. Oh, okay, then. So he's going to. So he waits, and then I think he just doesn't run again. That's going to be what's going to come out here. I won't run again. That's all. You got me. I just won't run again. I don't know. I just feel like he does not resign. They impeach him. I don't know what the process is like. I assume it's just like federal impeachment, because then you got to have a trial in the Senate. You know, that type of thing.
You might be absolutely right. Thinking about it, he doesn't have like more than a year.
Right.
So I'm starting to change my mind. He might not resign, and shit, afterwards he probably will run for president.
I know.
You don't know.
I know.
Fucked up.
We like to elect sexual abusers as president.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they didn't mind with Trump, so.
And they didn't mind with Biden.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
They just kept on going. And I gotta
love the
I
establishment.
gotta tell you the truth though. It's just been I mean, let's just bring it to our own city. It's acceptable to do the things that he did. It's acceptable to him. It's acceptable to his friends. It's acceptable to people of his age even. They don't care. I mean, they just do whatever they want to do with the power that leads them to do that stuff. It's narcissism. It's all that. And I'd be shocked if he resigns. I can't see, because if he was that was a ridiculous thing. He just said that everyone misquoted him. You didn't hear what you thought you heard. I was only here to help you, and feel sorry for me because I had someone who I don't know who in my family, and we don't know who, got sexually assaulted in high school. And I don't know, I would love to know if Miss Bennett there had come out before as a sexual assault survivor. If she told him that, I mean, she could have. If they were friendly, in confidence, and he just said that now, I'm curious because that's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's really horrible. And who knows? He could have. I don't know. It's just messed up, man. I can't. There's an independent investigation, going on even right now. So, like I said, 9 of the women are current or former New York State employees. 2 of them, one's a New York State trooper, and this one I don't even know why I laugh at. It's just we're National Grid employee. I don't know how the hell what he's doing there. But do you think, you guys, when these things start happening, doesn't it feel like when there's smoke, there's fire type feeling to these? You know.
And we've seen how when we've had survivors come on our show and tell their story, that other people felt comfortable enough to tell their story. Right. And now that's basically what we've seen right here with Cuomo. Right. I mean, people started telling them, okay, now maybe I'm not the only person that's going to be against the governor of New York State. So they feel comfort in having somebody by their side helping them who was also inappropriate things happen to them under the same person.
Right.
And if this person has such power, and how can you be the only one really to stand up against them and not feel like you are going to be jeopardized in some way?
Right. Yeah, the first woman who did it. I mean, all of them, like the Attorney General. That's what we believe here. I believe it. Those women are the women in the D'Angelo case, the women that, like Robin, Kay, and all the rest, that you got a lot of courage to come and say, here's what happened to me, and now we're going to do this. And you're not going to let me, because I don't know why, go after them criminally. I do know why. It's because it's laziness. But, all right, so I got to go. They deserve all the credit in the world. And tomorrow, speaking of that, I want to remind everyone, 6 p.m. tomorrow, special edition of Citizens United. We're going to have Noelle Del Zoppo will be with us. Kay Lewis will be with us. Robin will be here, of course, as always. Gail might be here with us, Del Zoppo, I'm pretty sure. And not sure if Jerry's coming. He's more than welcome if he can. It'll be kind of fun. But what's going to happen here is we're going to have a little... June 2nd was a big day. June 2nd, we had Noelle, we had Kay. Noelle and Robin and everyone here, especially Noelle, helped Kay. And it was really a great thing. Helped her be able to come forward. Knowing and letting her know that we can be trusted, because that's important. And that happened. So tomorrow we are going to talk to them and just see how everything has gone. D'Angelo has some updates in his case, and I'm looking forward to that. Why don't we're gonna wrap it up? But I want to go around the room because this was a decent date. Robin, why don't you start? I know it's hard for you to hear what Tracy said, but in general,
I just. First of all, thank you to Tracy and all the other candidates who have and will come on here. As always, we appreciate that. Like I said, I encourage everybody out there to listen to as many of these videos as you can. Listen to the survivors speak listen to the governor and the way he tries to put it on the survivors as if it was their fault. Listen to Letitia James and what and what we just played there, and there will be some great talk tomorrow. As we know, Governor Cuomo has the power with the Child Victims Act to extend that. That's a big deal for me. That's a big deal for a lot of survivors. And I hope you'll all join us tomorrow to talk about it.
John, got anything for us?
Oh, yeah. Thank you to Tracy again for coming on tonight. And good luck to all the victims. And hope you all watch the show tomorrow. And just want to say good luck to everybody.
Wade.
I'm going to end, I'm going to say what I have to say with, we have a person who just made a post. This comment says, as a survivor, I appreciate all you do. I've received help from some I never would have had pleasure of meeting and getting me to confront things head on. I thank all of you for that. So I think that really sums it up. We are here for victims. We are here to make you become survivors and then warriors to help the other victims that need help. I'm
that was
excited
nice.
Really good. Thank you for the comment. I'm excited to do the show tomorrow. Special episodes of Citizens United tomorrow at 6 p.m. where we will get updates from our friends.
Yeah, we're going to update everything tomorrow. We're going to update this D'Angelo case that is coming to a weird, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Let me read my numbers off here as I do. And there they are. The YWCA, 433-6714, 716 area code, but you won't need it because if you're here in Niagara County, that's what you would call, because if you're outside of our county, find yours that is closest to you, because there is one in almost every community I was looking at throughout the United States. But what they do at the YWCA is all for free. There's advocates that will go with you to the police station, to the hospital, anywhere else you'd need to go where you might feel scared, unsafe, whatever. They'll go with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are counselors that, and this is like you can't put a value on this. They will talk to you for free. Counselors, real counselors, sexual assault survivors, sexual assault counselors will talk to you at your home while you're on your couch, they're on theirs, wherever they are, and it's all for free. And they'll do it, usually once, twice a week, whatever you need. There's Zoom calls between, I've seen this, where survivors all get together and just talk, which is always good because survivors know survivors better, That's 716-433-6714. Don't forget this, though. I got to say this. If you are a family member of a victim, a survivor, please call them if you have any questions about things that you don't understand in the mindset of a survivor. That one number, I'm going to say it real quick. I don't usually bring it up, the sexual assault number, that hotline, that 1-800-656-HOPE. The only reason why I'm saying that is if you are out of our county and you're out of town, call them. They'll get you right to where you need to go in your area for the YWCA. Mental health, we saw Simone Biles, who was dealing with mental health and sexual assault issues that she dealt with trying to become a survivor. So mental health is, everyone needs mental health. 1-800-662-4357, 1-800-662-4357, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you've ever, anxieties, fears, bad thoughts, you want to hurt yourself, all those kinds of things, just you can't get out of bed, you're just sick of it, give them a call. They're there. They can help you probably just on that phone, or maybe they will bring you, get you to a location here. So we're going to wrap it up for now, but tomorrow we'll be back at 6 p.m. We're gonna bring back the group from June 2nd, the Del Zappos, Kay Lewis, Robin, and all the rest. So thank you to Tracy Bax, and we'll be. Oh, wait a minute, real quick. Friday, Goal Getters. I'm flying alone. I don't have my co-host with me. He's on assignment. He's going to be on assignment hitting a golf ball, I think. That might be the assignment. I don't know. Jerry Del Zappa will know what he's doing. We'll make sure he keeps an eye on him. And so that'll happen. All the great shows on Gorillas Inc. Please go check them out. The Madhouse is pretty funny from what I see. You got to check that one out. Shows are starting. You know about them. All right, let me get out of here. Take care, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.